up to speed, up to speed, up to speed.
Right? Live from the apocalypse. Who killed Russell Jones? This is State of the Game. My name is Dano. Humble, wistful, just a fun guy. And my joined every week, my co-host, who all of his injuries are breakdance related.
Unfortunately.
Breakdance injuries. Have you ever known old B-boys, Kay, who are like they can't spit on their head anymore, and they're like,
no, I feel like they've maybe retired it. They haven't brought I'm sure I've met some old B-boys, but not like recognize them. No.
I got a homie that teaches it in town, Portland. He still does. So it's shout out to the old B-boys. Making it work
Keeping it limber.
Knees, you know what I'm saying? Like,
damn,
it's crazy.
Yeah, using creatine or something.
I couldn't have done it when I was young. So today we have somebody
not doing any head spins.
Trying to think about it. I had a great poet friend who said there's always one line in a poem that says everything about the poem.
Mm-hmm.
And I sometimes felt that way about artists. Like, one song or one performance would become the identity of who this person is, and it would not lead me to the rest of their career, right? So, like, there was a time for me where I was like B.Dolan, the evil Knievel guy.
That was an early entry point. That was early.
And so to share the real intro is, you are one of my most impressive live show memories. Right? Because everybody thought Sage Francis had come on stage with a clown costume on.
Yeah.
And then you were dressed as a clown doing a much more hardcore version of Colbert's conservative character.
At the time, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Stephen Colbert was doing that thing.
And
I never thought of it that way, but
and you wrecked it. You just wrecked it, and it was the kind of like, a blistering hot satire that a room full of like drunk Maine kids might not have picked up all the way on. They were very confused. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And that led me to the failure. We had Sage here talking about the history of Strange Famous, and I was like, tell me about the failure. So that was a long time ago. I have been a dyed-in-the-wool fan, B.Dolan fan, from Failure on, right?
Word.
From
Respect.
Evel Knievel on. It did not surprise me that you didn't like Rick Ross the way you did, right? Like, it's like that. It's a clear line, in my mind.
True. Yeah. I've been saying the same shit for a long time.
It's just that kind of intensity, and like nobody around me had even thought about Evel Knievel like that. And I was helping run a poetry organization. We were mining for good things to really work, and we heard that shit. We were like, "Fuck!" Now I care about Evel Knievel. It's so good. So, shout out to you. You got a new album, Fight Naked, that I think is one of those, I don't know, beautiful three-dimensional albums that you're going to be proud of for a long time.
I feel proud of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's my best, but I always feel like that. But I kind of feel like objectively it's great. Yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
I mean, the production is top notch. We're talking about Small Professor, Ant, Controller 7, Widowmaker, yourself. And like, you are just, and I don't know, you give us so many moods. If I think of the Evil Knievel version of B.Dolan as you will not look away from me, motherfucker. You will not go to get a drink. Like not until I'm fucking done. There was an impact level. And that's still present in the first part of the Fight Naked, but you have gear switching all through this that I think is better than I've ever heard you before in terms of that.
Thanks. Yeah, I worked at that. There was a break time because a lot of these songs came out of the lockdown time also.
Mhm.
So yeah, I had this was like the first batch of songs that I was conscious of. I'm probably not gonna tour these songs, and they probably won't be released the way I've been releasing songs. And just the time at home in continuous, space. I really did like strip things down and kind of rebuild them production wise, writing wise. Yeah, I did some studying. And yeah, it was good. I also working with Ant was really instructional too. That came before that time. So it was kind of almost like Ant gave me long-term homework and I had the time to do it. Um, Shout to Ant. Ant's an incredible producer who I got to we spent about a week together. I went and hung out at his house and the songs we wrote in the basement, there's two of them on this album and two on the previous album, I
Hmm.
think.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, yeah, I put
We
that intention into it.
we talked about we talked about Ant a little bit with Brother Ali when he was on here. And it's Ant is an interesting study because I feel like Ant mastered giving you the best possible underground beat that was like propulsive and not overcooked, not over busy. And so he's got hits after hits. He's got lots of hits, but reputationally, a lot of the producers who have big names are producers who kind of put extra sauce on stuff. I never
Yeah.
felt like Ant was extra anything. I always felt like he was keyed in to the mission.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think his musicality is like I don't want to say bigger than hip hop because that's a weird that's a weird way to put it. But I think like he's a producer in the way that like Motown producers were producers. Like he is listening to the entirety of the song and thinking about what best served the song. And yeah, he pulls out exactly the right elements. He's has a genius for like finding the loop that has everything in it, like the 4 to 8 bars that has just all you need. And then he has a method of which, but that has evolved over time too, because he keeps changing the way he makes records. Um, but the way I produced my whole record in 2016, Kill the Wolf. Like I made all the beats. And then after that, I intentionally wanted to not do that and focus on just being the MC and find somebody who I trusted with the music half, which is what led me to Ant. And and I had never had someone in the room with me where he was just like he would play the beat and he'd be like, okay, like go ahead, like do what you do, like start writing. And I'm like, well, I'm usually like finding cadences and patterns, and it kind of sounds like gibberish and half freestyle. And he's like, all right, go ahead, do that. And he'd listen to me do that, and then find parts of that and go, yeah, like yeah, that. Like once I would find cadences or pockets or start saying types of things, he'd be like, yeah, like that, or giving me a beat and telling me like you should write about some shit like this on it, which is like guidance I'd never ever gotten as a rapper. Um,
It's awesome.
and then, just certain things that, yeah, just, taught me how to like find the parts of the song, all the parts of the arrangement and think about it in terms of structure. Yeah, that was some of it. And then I was also working on movie writing. And movie writing is all about structure too. And like to break down a 90-page script into acts and scenes and breaks within scenes and shit is math at a certain point. And at a certain point I started addressing songs like mathematically and with
Yeah,
themes, almost changing the way I was writing. So yeah, I did a lot of like development type shit, and I like the results.
that's awesome. And you've been able to work with some of the best producers over the course of your career, Buddy Peace.
Yeah,
And I wanted to
Alias.
start, Fallen City with, somebody who's really important to me, Alias.
Yeah,
Um, I got to see Alias perform live a few times.
yeah, shit.
Um, and just an incredible person, you know.
Yeah,
And the way I explain it to people who are not in New England is that he was our Flying Lotus.
yeah, yeah, and then some.
We were like, we didn't have producers who were like renowned artistically outside of Maine,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah,
He was that guy. His name rang everywhere.
yeah,
People respect it. So it was, yeah. It's when you've, yeah. I mean, you've just been able to be in the room with a lot of important people.
yeah.
What do you learn from Alias? What did you learn from Buddy Peace? Like what did you learn from these people?
Yeah, from Alias, from Bren, I learned like so fucking much. Like at the point I met him, I think it was 2006 or seven. I think it was on the Human the Death Dance tour.
Mm,
I think. And yeah, we probably met in Providence. We did. I only followed that tour to DC, and then I think I went home to finish the failure. Um, but in that short time, I met Alias and we hit it off, and he just started traveling in my car with me separately from the van for those couple. So I think we had a drive from like to DC or something where we were just kind of like showing each other records, and we both really loved this Vangelis record. Vangelis had a psych rock band called Aphrodite's Child, and there's a record they made. The record's called 666, and it's an all red cover. It's been sampled a ton, but there's this song on it called "The Four Horsemen," and it has these fucking crazy drums. And but they couldn't. There's no way you can isolate it. There's no break. You can't get it. So it was like we were playing it. And we're like, man, these fucking drums, man. And started talking. I think about making a horrorcore record in 2010, which was a weird time to do that. It was like even before. It was like years before like Goblin and Tyler the Creator did that
mm,
shit. So no one was
yeah.
thinking about fucking horrorcore at that time. But we just started talking about that. And so from there is how we started working on a record. But I think actually he helped me finish The Failure first. He produced a couple of the tracks on The Failure, the spoken word tracks.
That's dope.
And even the Bombs Over Baghdad, he put like the musical accompaniment underneath that. And he heard the song on The Failure where I rapped with Soul. It's called Young Americans. And when
Hmm.
he heard that, he was like, "Yo, you sound fucking good on that." And because I wasn't really rapping on much of The Failure, and he was like, "I would produce a record for you." And I was like, "Yeah." So from there, yeah, I was just taking trips up to Portland. It's a drive like 3.5 hours, but we did it for about a year. And I would like start beats here. This studio was way less at the time. I was working with Fruity Loops at the time. And so if I didn't have a beat that fit what I wanted to write about, I would just kind of make a skeletal thing, send it off to him with like a first verse and a chorus, and then he'd take the acapella, send me back a new beat, and then I'd finish the song. A couple of like the song Marvin, he kept my sample and drums, but just then made it incredible. Um, but yeah, so we made that album over the course of that year, and then we continued to work together. He mixed Kill the Wolf in 2016. He mixed both of the Epic Beardmen records. I think those were the last projects we did together. Um, and yeah, through that time, he was just the most like ego-less dude, just the fucking absolute best dude that like many of us ever knew, especially in the
Right.
music industry. And yeah, just a devoted dad, husband, and and he was the first dude I met who was so ill that he he would share anything with you. He would tell, and that's when I, because I definitely leveled up when I worked with him for the first time. He was the most, he was the person who believed in me as a rapper and like was down to take my early demos and like make them incredible songs before I had the skill or knowledge on how to do that. And in a way, obviously, I couldn't do. But he also, as soon as we were in the room together, like gave me his entire list of breakbeats and records, and it was just like, if you ever see any of these records, buy them. And we would just nerd out about records a lot. So like he straight up gave me he at one point he just gave me the folder of all his breakbeats, and was like, here, just take all this and if you make a beat out of whatever, like. And I had come up around so many producers who were covering records up and were really proprietary and weird. If you even mentioned the vinyl that they had sampled and shit, and
Yeah.
like Brand was the first who was like, yeah, don't take it, and like because he knew that he had spent a million hours like mastering compression, being able to do things with those breaks that nobody else could do. It's like, here, I'll give you, I'll give you the keys to the house, like
Right. You still won't be me. Like, I'm
right,
not
right,
worried about
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But really generous with it and also really relaxed and here like we're all trying to learn, we're all trying to get good, we're all showing each other shit we like. Yeah, he was a conduit in that way, and that's why so many artists like careers intersect at him.
Right. No, that's fair. Yeah. Kay, how did you what did you listen to? Because it's a fairly long career. Did you go back a little bit?
I no, I focus primarily on Fight Naked.
That's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. How did you feel about the flow of it, man?
I mean, I thought it's interesting that you mentioned that you were studying script. You said script writing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, because I was I did notice how structured the project was.
Yep.
I mean, and I thought that it was a good marriage between production and rapping, and I thought it was one of the rare albums where like the how do I say this? I feel like the mood of the music and the mood of the artist were in sync.
Mhm.
Uh, like there was a lot of, I think on my notes I have, there was a lot of tension uh, in some of the songs that kind of particularly in the first half of the project, that
Yeah,
matched what you were rapping about very, very beautifully, in my opinion.
that's awesome.
Word up.
Yeah. It's yeah, every so and Kay has had hangups with like modern underground stuff with where it doesn't have a
As you
clear
should.
subject matter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, okay.
You know what I
Where it
mean?
doesn't have,
It's
yeah.
not bad. It's still great music, but like it's kind of a collage of different images that might
Yeah.
come together and make a point, but it might not. Um,
Yeah.
and like so I imagine this was a break from that because every B.Dolan song means something very
Yes, means 100%. Every song had a reason for being.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that
Intentionality.
I
Very
noticed that,
intentional.
yeah, word. Yeah, I noticed that about my shit too. I hear other people's songs and I'm like, oh, you just kind of free associate words, huh? Oh, that's cool. Like it's vibey, like I don't, I think I probably struggle to be vibey. Like I don't know if you put my shit on at a party. I don't know. I think it might be music to listen to when you want to pay attention to what's being said. Um, Maybe I'll figure out how to make vibey music. I made a soundtrack once with no vocals on it. As soon as I start rapping, though, I start talking about shit. It's a bad
That's
habit.
a, yeah, and what what happens when you're an artist is like you focus on where you want to be, you focus on your editing, right? You focus on getting better, and then your first drafts become better, right? You're able to kind of get to where you want to go quicker, but then your process becomes subconscious a little bit,
Yeah,
where you're like, if you told me to just sit down and write, I would find something, I would find a theme and it would end up being a theme. Like it would end up being something about something because that's what my brain does. Like I
yeah,
can't not do that.
yeah.
Um, so I imagine that's probably the case for where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah, like everybody's got a unique awareness, but yeah, mine tends to be making a lot of connections all the time.
Yep. No, it's great. And yeah, this is it's a heck of a record. Fight Naked. And I knew, Kay, I wrote this in the breakdown. I knew I had to do anything I could do to book B.Dolan when I heard Boys to Men.
Word.
Hmm.
That was where I was like, this is my time. Because that's to me, that was the song that you like. I hadn't heard Wistful Dolan.
Yeah. I'm an uncle, man.
We're at that age. We're sitting
Yeah.
there like, damn, like
Yeah.
this is crazy. And I think it's similar to where my thought process has been of not just remembering and reminiscing, but investigating what we were
Mm.
doing back then
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and being like, oh, I can't. Oh, that's why this is happening. Oh, that's why people are mad at us.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, that one came out of a long span of time. Like I think it took a couple years to write. Like it was kind of I think I had the hook and the maybe the beat for a while. But wasn't quite sure where to aim and what to talk about. Because sometimes, yeah, the hook on that one is says everything that the song is about, but then the verses need to specifically address some shit. And clearly that one had to be about some shit. And I think really the experience with my nephew is what got that song like in motion. The whole first verse is about it. And that was the perspective. That was the understanding that, after experiencing adulthood into middle age through the era of Me Too and but mostly experiencing adulthood to middle age because I don't know. I feel like these things have coincided in a way where it's hard to separate them all. It's hard to separate them. Man, it's imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy. So it
Sure,
is
sure.
that like let's just say that. So it all connects because it's all supposed to connect. But that said, you see what it does to people's lives, you see what it does to people's families, you see what it does to relationships, music scenes, um, movements, and then it affects you however it affects you. It tends to touch people's lives, like just statistically, numerically. Um, and when it does, you look around at like the men around you and you're like, damn, like I thought we were the good guys. And you have to come to terms with that. Um, and sometimes things don't get repaired, and it's like, okay, um, if when that happens, where do you direct that energy? Where do you direct what you've learned? And then there's like young dudes around, and you're like, that's where I got to direct it right there. Like, um, so our responsibility to kids and young boys specifically was on my mind going into it. And then, yeah, just trying to explain lessons to a younger person. And yeah, there's a lot we learned by experience because nobody gave us tools.
Christian, did you have parts of this song developed before your experience with your nephew?
I think I had the hook and I think I had the beat, but I
Okay.
didn't quite know how to start it, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I knew I wanted to write a broad, like about men and about masculinity, but I didn't know how to start it. Yeah.
Yeah. When you have like 35% of a good idea,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
you're
songs hang out like that
yeah,
sometimes. They just, which side are you on was like that too. I knew
and
I
then
wanted
you're in
to
line
sample that.
talking to somebody, and you're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. 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 Sometimes when a song sometimes I know that I've like hit a vein of like very important subject matter
Yeah.
and I have to like live for a little while and like just live with the song for a little while. Even the Evil Knievel thing you're talking about. I performed as Evil Knievel for a year in an Evil Knievel costume. I had a whole like thing I would do, and I would jump a tricycle over some toy buses off the end of the stage. And at the end of it, I felt so fucked up after a show that I was like, damn, like this is how Evil Knievel probably felt. And like it was in a hotel room that I was just like, it was just this small window. It was like Evil Knievel, he pretended to be a drug-free role model, but privately he was doing tons of drugs. And he would talk to kids and he would be like, you can't run, if you use drugs and alcohol, you'll run like the cars that use nitrous at the Indy 500. They go hard for a couple laps and then they burn all to hell and they're shot. And that'll be you if you use drugs and alcohol. And I was feeling fucked up after like banging up my knee on a barrier. And I was just like high in a hotel room and I was like, man, like a car on nitrous, man. I was like, oh, he probably said that because that's how he felt. He felt like a car that was busted up to shit. And like from that little window of like, oh, you telling them kids about yourself. I was like, oh, that's how you felt. Like, and then the poem, The Sky Cycle Blues, got written after a year of living with this Evil Knievel idea. Like,
Easy. That's so awesome.
yeah.
But yeah, that's
That's how shit
crazy.
comes about.
So yeah. So yeah, Kay, what did you have any favorite runs?
I mean, I loved the beginning of the project, as I said, because of the tension in the Discord. And then I think so the first three songs, and then I believe Advice to Young Writers. There was a
Ooh, that's
break, there was a
song.
shift. I loved that shift. So Advice to Young Writers, People, Corporate Hood, Boys to Men is probably my favorite 3-song run on here. Because I wasn't expecting a shift. Because
Right.
so when it came, and then how the project developed after that, it was really great to me.
Yeah, because that first part, right, from Soil through Fight Naked, you're getting what you want from a B.Dolan album, right? You've got, you know,
Right.
you've got Skip, you got Castro, people are,
Mhm.
the bar work is happening. Um, you know, Fight Naked's a fun image, but it's a song about like being, vested in the world. Like, so you're getting what you want, and then Advice to Young Writers, I had to, man, that song changed a lot as I listened to it.
Mhm.
And that's really good. That's really good. So I think that is very wise. Okay, that 3-song run. Advice to Young Writers is really, really important. And to me, there's two themes on the album that I picked up on. Um, some of it was a lot of it's generational. It's like not, and it's not just like, let me tell you my wisdom, you know, it's
Yeah.
not like Bob Seger, right? It's not,
Shout out to Bob Seger.
Bob Seger, man, he was really good at Wistful. Um, really good at Wistful. Okay, did I ever tell you? So I had a philosophy podcast before this
Mhm.
for years. And one of the episodes, I made the premise that Night Moves should be the national anthem.
Night Moves.
That Night Moves is the most American thing I could think of, and by Bob Seger. And I'm forced my co-host to listen to Night Moves constantly for like a week, over and over again. We're gonna have to do this at least 50 times, and then like
It's
come to it.
violence.
And we had the craziest philosophical breakdown of it. But because when you listen to a song that
Okay.
much, you're
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
At this point,
uh,
I think the national anthem should be the one that goes da, 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 da. Something Gladiators, March of the Gladiators, I think it's called.
yeah, I like that. Um, but yeah, but yeah, it's not that, but there's there's a sense of here's where we went wrong. Here's, I was a bully, didn't even know it kind of situations. And then people are telling you a lot of things, Here's what's bullshit.
Yeah,
Here's what's
yeah.
real. Here's what you know. So some of it is game, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then the other theme I think is masculinity, not just on Boys to Men, but 55.
Yeah.
Like the the wear and tear of masculinity is present on this album. I think.
It's
Uh,
present in my life and in my body.
it's real. Um, so yeah, and advice to young writers is so. I've been thinking about it a lot, Kay, because when you're an artist, right, and you walk around the world, most people look at you like you're fucked up, like because you what you're doing exists outside of the process of normal life.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's at work, you know you're doing well, you got a raise, you won an award, right? As when you're like, I'm an artist, everybody's like, I don't know what the fuck to do with that. Like, I don't know what to do with that. Like, you're a painter, I would have to learn about painting to know if you suck at painting. No, thank you. Right? Like, so most people like don't have the time to engage with it. Like even if they know you're good, they're like, this is too much thinking, bro. I just worked a full shift. I'm not into that. So, and it's going to come back to monetization.
Yeah.
Okay, you make music. Where's your album? Are you on tour? Like, you know, it's gonna be. Is it chartable? You wrote a book. Okay, is it in the store? Where do I get it? You know, um, and you can't like because that's the world you live in. As young artists are steered to ignore their art and minimize it on the important scale, right? Like, eh, it's probably not going to pan out anyway, right? You should really focus on your job, right? And the advice to young artists, really good reframe of that of like, no, that's actually the myth. You should be focusing on this art.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, it's about for me that one was about just withdrawing like your energy. Like it was like again, it was like out of that lockdown time, that this idea of quiet quitting, of showing up at your job
yep.
and being bad at your job, on not giving it any extra energy. And basically like the opposite of, I feel like the grind set shit kind of became more dominant once people went back to work post, but there was that quiet quit moment where I was like, yeah, let's not lose this moment of like all of us collectively being like, fuck this shit, like this, this world has been wrecked by this current system that we have to participate in to fucking feed ourselves. But why would we give any extra energy to it? Why would we invest ourselves in the myth of you know becoming an independent entrepreneur, the Jay-Z myth,
Right.
basically. And I say that as someone who celebrated Jay-Z's success through his entire career and marveled at the way he could rap about making money and make me feel like I had made the money too when I listened to
Yes.
his fucking music. Like, like I was like, yeah, Jay Guevara, here we go. Like, and we've seen how it panned out, like to the where he was giving us, advice on which Warhols to buy, and we're like, Jay, and now he's in the files. So I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I don't know how to feel about my heroes, but
I mean, and
I
Dame
know that,
especially became Dame became one of those people telling everybody they weren't stupid if they didn't like start a huge business. And it
yeah,
was like we can't
and all
all
that, man. And we
start huge
were, as underground rappers, we were the juxtaposition of that, and the symbol of like, you rap good. I mean, I was in the room with Def Jam when I was 18 years old, and they were asking me if I could rap like Eminem. And if I was willing to be an Eminem clone, I would have had a totally different career. I probably would have got signed and shelved or something, but who the fuck knows? But like, like I immediately just recoiled, like, I don't want to surrender my art to you people. Like and the song Person Corporate that comes after it on purpose is like, addresses how, and Wilhelm Scream also to a degree is about this also, about how like this writing came out of me trying to save my own life in a fucked up situation that I grew up in. And this was like the most personal, intimate thing that was mine. And then at a certain point, yeah, it got somebody came along and was like, you could sell this and you could, make a living off it. And it's like, oh, okay, and that, you know, and I fucking ground ground it out, like band tours for fucking, from 2005 to 2019. Um, Doing the merch, being the driver, being the headliner, being the opener, being security, being all the people, just smoking weed, like to go to sleep and wake up, like ignoring pains, muscle cramps, fucked up back, doing whole tours of fucked up back, laying down in the back of the van, not knowing what that's about. And like, you know, one emergency spine surgery later, you have a very different perspective on whether any of it, was worth it to what you were striving for, you know, and you were striving for security. You were striving to, because you saw a window, you thought, but it's a pyramid scheme, is where it gets around to on advice to young writers, where it's just like this ain't it. This is
Yeah.
all of us collectively withdrawing our fucking energy from this shit and imagining something different, is it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, think that, and that's an incredible journey. I appreciate that. For me, I was thinking about it in sense of the 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 work life balance thing is over, right?
Yeah.
Like if you go on LinkedIn or you're like seeing any of these business videos, it's branding and it's and they want you to stay later. They want you to, network, to be about it all the time. They want to kind of shred through anything that's not work so that you're 100% work, so that you're more giving them more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
And also, when we look at the people who have mastered the system, they're the most fucked up. It's Elon Musk, Donald Trump. It's it's like they're not happy people. They're not well-adjusted people. They're not people whose family loves them. They're not
right,
like
right, right,
they're
right.
miserable drug addict pieces of shit. Like, so
Yeah,
winning the game doesn't win the game. The whole thing is a scam.
absolutely. And so since it is a scam, if you even let your heart and mind really go into this art shit while you're just you work at work or whatever, um you'll find yourself much happier
Right.
because you're like, as a person, I've said this before, as a person you kind of carry a status. you know LeBron James is a basketball player, right? Like, um you know Keith runs gambling joints.
Oh,
He's a
it's
bookie. So,
Nice.
yeah.
All right.
but
Talk
it,
offline.
talk of like but yeah, no, and if you, what you're doing is you're divesting your status from this job you have, and you're allowing yourself to be in control of what you mean as a person, and it just makes you better, makes you kinder to people. It makes
Yeah.
you less stressed out.
Yeah. 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 For real.
Yeah, I may have overthought the song, but that's where I was at.
No,
Uh,
it's yeah, it's all in there.
Mhm.
um, but yeah, no, it's a great.
The
Uh,
other thing, sorry,
um,
the other thing I was thinking about that I addressed in the third verse is Kanye West. He was complaining about how he gets Kanye Wested all the time. Everywhere he goes, like when he tries to hire designers, they give him a different price because they know he's Kanye West. And I was like, damn, when he was complaining about that, I was like, damn, I kind of have the reverse of that. Like everywhere I go, I just look like a lost vagabond. And like people like give me the discount all the time. Like I get free shit everywhere I go because I just look like a normal ass dude who's trying to live his life. And like, if I fuck up and don't have my card on me at the time, like half the time somebody will be like, "Yeah, get the fuck in." Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? I feel like working class people do that shit for each other all the time.
All the time.
That's the opposite of getting Kanye'd. And I'm like, that's the shit that'll get you through life, man. Like the
Right.
kindness of strangers will get you through. Like
That's
helping
true.
out people, not being a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what, like, if you've ever, like, I've had the opportunity to be around like executives, and they were like, and I was like, oh shit, like they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
spending the whole time trying to gauge who's lying to them, because everywhere they go is cleaned up.
Yeah.
Everywhere an executive goes has been cleaned up for weeks ahead of time,
Yeah.
in advance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the army, when like the commander, the base commander's coming by, well, that's when they pull the 40
Right.
bottles in the paper
Yeah.
bags out of the bushes, right?
Yeah. You never
That's
know
when
what the
they
fuck
cleared
is
everything
going
out.
on.
So
Yeah.
like it's
Mm,
been, their environment everywhere has been curated. So
mm.
they're trying to poke holes in it, you know,
Yeah. True. True.
but they don't have no fucking context for it. They're not grounded in a community.
Mm.
And like that's kind of what we're describing. Like when you're
Yeah.
grounded in the communities with people, you're a lot more powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a doorman on Park Avenue.
Wow.
I was around some millionaires,
That's dope. That's dope.
and I didn't have a place to live at the time. It was very eye-opening, and they were miserable people.
Just B.Dolan showing Sharon Stone to her room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. That's a cool
Yeah.
idea. But yeah, and there's some heavy shit on here. This is I love this. I'm a philosophy major, so this is like something like leash theory is really interesting
Yeah.
and lives in my head. I love
Man,
that
that
shit.
was purely for the nephews. That's a kid story to me. That's me trying to write a kid song. And when I told Scroobius Pip that, he was like, he's like, I believe you. I believe that you think you wrote a song for kids. I don't know. My nephew, actually, my 13-year-old nephew did it. He's like, what is that? He was trying to get me to explain it like 2 days ago. I was like, the little nephews get confused when I tell them. I was like, you figure it out.
What was the origin of that song? Because that song stood out to me. Like, how
Uh,
did that come to be?
I think it was my 8-year-old nephew, Miles, at the time. I was trying to explain self-control to him. And we have kind of similar backgrounds. Like he deals with some PTSD type stuff, and I do too. And so, I have limited time with him. Um, and I think it was just, sometimes I'll like talk through a conversation that I want to have with them beforehand, like how I'm going to lead this and explain this fucking concept. And this, I think, started just as me doing that, and then just writing it into a song and realizing it's too convoluted for them. But if I make it a song, they'll be able to listen to it for a long time and they can just puzzle it out. Because there is really a lot in the song by the end of it. But it started out as, yeah, just straight up me trying to explain something to a kid. Me trying to explain the concept of self-control to a kid, which is a tricky concept, really, to talk about,
Mm.
because you know self-control is not just restraining yourself. Like, you don't want to tell someone to restrain themselves all the time, and that's why part of that, it is about again, the opposite of capitalism, which is like wants you to be a robot. This is about like you are an animal. You're much more like an animal than you are like a robot.
Mhm.
um and that's something that I don't think like young people get told or given the space for. And that's why some of this shit, even babysitting and watching kids, like there's lines in there about the animals. You're an animal, like you're breaking shit in my house and we're letting it go because we know like you're a young animal. Like I really try, and I don't talk to kids like they're kids. I talk to kids like they're small adults. So I
Yeah,
just
me too.
like,
Yeah.
and a lot of the time, I'll just be like, yo, you got a part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. It's not developed yet. It's the part that's going to tell you not to run in parking lots, and it's not grown yet. So you got to listen to me. I'm sorry. I don't
Mm.
make brains. Like, so it's just me trying to explain in a basic way of like some rules on how to have a body and be a human. Like
Mm,
it's kind of that. Yeah.
yeah. And it's just in a way to like normalize and not shame these kind of like animalistic adrenaline tendencies that we have. Like self-control is going to come from a natural place where you like understand, you know, the urges aren't you being broken. They're you're part of your development.
Yeah.
Um, and we didn't really have that.
Yeah.
We didn't know what to be ashamed of. You know what I mean? We really
Yeah.
didn't. Um,
And the leash thing is like if you've ever walked an animal on a leash, like it's not really ideally it's not about pulling and directing the animal. It's kind of about like finding a relaxed feeling between you and the animal where you're able to walk side by side and you can if the animal like wants to pull one way you can adjust and if you want to pull one way so like that relationship of listening to the animal and directing the animal is the closest I could get to like you know what I mean listen to yourself but also sometimes yourself your physical self your animal self is going to want to wild out and you gotta no you gotta be in control at that time but also ask your pay attention why does your animal want to wild out right now like do you not
right.
feel safe around this person this place like
Mm.
so yeah it's a two-way street communication thing.
Yeah. I mean that's it was just such a wonderful way to leave the album because I don't know how you felt about it, Kay, but it made me want to listen to the album again. It was such
Yeah.
a, like, oh wow.
I mean, I'm still digesting it because I mean, it was there was a there was like a sweetness to it at the
Yeah.
same time because after everything we had been through listening to the project, it was nice to hear like this almost moment of positivity, optimism. It was an
Yeah.
optimistic song to me in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the most optimistic one on the record. I didn't think about it that way. That's real.
Yeah.
Because that's I say that you're gonna get bigger, like the cats and the bird.
Yeah,
That's very optimistic.
Just to end the album with an optimistic restructuring of how the
Who'd have
civilized
thought?
person should look at themselves. It's like, okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's like you're going to grow, and this is a way that you can constructively grow and operate. That's going to help you moving forward. So
right.
I mean, that's why it was optimistic to me because it's like almost like it was an instruction manual for how you can move forward in life as you grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's the intention behind that one. That's one they can grow on when I'm gone. I write those
Yeah.
sometimes.
I love
Mm.
it. No, I think that's dope. And yes, I do think this is your best album, and it is one of those special projects where it feels like everything was building to this album. Um, if creatively, right? All the tools were building to get to this record. So it's an honor to celebrate it with you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for listening to it so carefully and like, yeah, it's been a great interview.
No, so and beyond Fight Naked and well, but within Fight Naked, um, some questions that we had because life as a politically active and engaged rap artist
Yeah.
seems from the outside to be largely unrewarding.
No, it's hella rewarding. It's a good time.
It seems largely unrewarding, but like the and that's why a lot of people don't do it, right? Because like if you step out and you're like, this is wrong, you have a line. I think it's on Kill the Wolf. You said y'all are as quiet as Eminem after Bush won,
Oh, that was earlier. That was the failure. Yeah, y'all are quiet like New York hip hop after 9/11.
and
Or
it's
quiet
the
like Eminem after Bush won re-election was
yeah,
the
Bush
follow-up.
got
Yeah, yeah.
reelected, yeah,
That's right.
and so it's like there's an example of he staked his claims like Bush is wrong, Bush won. Never heard anything else political really from him, and like if you take an L and you put your stance out and you were emphatic, it's a tougher L to take than you made a booty shaking song that didn't hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, like the rap that inspired me to rap was Public Enemy and
Uh-huh.
Scarface. So that was rap was a like critical part of my political education, and for me, it was kind of personal, though you wouldn't think that being a white guy from New England. But I grew up around racist people.
Mm.
I was raised by racist people and abusive people. Same people who were racist were abusive. So at a certain point, I think, without thinking it or realizing it, I think the people that my abusers hated, I was like, well, that's probably where I should be at and who I should pay attention to. And when I heard the music those people were making and they were like, yo, these motherfuckers are racist, I was like, that's correct. They are racist. Like, I was like, this music is telling the fucking truth.
Right.
And so from there, I just kind of was raised by hip hop. And from there, I read books. I started going to protests. And when I started going to protests at the time, my first protest was in '99. I was 18, and Mos Def was a speaker at the protest, and Raucous Records was like on top at the time, and uh, like had songs about how they're turning jams into revolutionary parties, and I believed the hype. I was like, okay, hip hop, underground hip hop is political and embedded in activism and liberation, and this is how it's going to be. And then quickly, Ruckus did what Ruckus did, and who the fuck knows at this point?
Mm.
That shit was a CIA fucking backed label. Um, but like a lot of that promise was lost, and I never. I was always saying the same shit. Part of the reason I walked out of the Def Jam thing where they were asking me to, to sound like do more crazy white boy shit was me knowing that I wanted to talk about killer cops and shit and that it wasn't gonna work in this like I like so it just wasn't an option and it wasn't anything I was willing to turn over. And I didn't think even that I would be capable of, because when like I say, it's all connected to very personal shit that happened to me. So my the shit that fuels me is like obviously even if I'm not directly being targeted or harmed, um I see the connection between all these like forms of abuse, like I said, white supremacist, capitalist, imperialist,
Mhm,
patriarchy.
mhm.
um so yeah, I don't know. It never felt like a choice for me. So therefore, it was always in the music, but I never wanted the music to be like bumper sticker shit. I never wanted, I would see a lot of that like attention getting. There would be those times a Republican would get elected and it would be very fashionable to become a political rapper, and every rapper would release a political song, and then everyone would be political for a season and then go away. Um, that's been ongoing and continues and will continue. Because it's like it's a costume people put on. I've realized through time, and like, and in music, people are looking for a gimmick. So, you know, if you're just like another rapper, being the political version of that rapper is an easy twist, and like those have come and gone. Like, um, a lot of fake revolutionaries in underground rap have come and gone. Um,
But
but
there
yeah,
is
I don't know. What's
a
that?
sense that you were like, I was thinking about this week. There's a sense that you were right all along. Like early in your career, it was. I remember people being like, "Those guys are too extreme," you know.
Yeah, right,
Those
right.
guys are crazy, and like I look around the underground now, and I see all these really impactful voices fearlessly expressing themselves, talking about important shit, Brian Eddles, like just like, on and on, right? Like we had Castro on there, like just brilliant kind of fearless people. It it's an expectation now, right?
Yeah.
Like people, young listeners, younger generation of hip hop listeners are like, where do you stand on this? I need to know because I don't want to support a dirtbag for 10 years before I know.
Yeah. Yeah, real.
So like there's a sense of like you guys were ahead of that, being so declarative about who you were so early. Um, yeah, in that bucket with the coup and everybody else of like, oh, they were actually right, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's like there's a tradition that I see myself as trying to be in, and they're like, it's more like that's who I'm trying to be like. I'm trying to be like fucking Stevie Wonder, really. Everybody's just trying to be like Stevie Wonder, but I mean, like Stevie Wonder's been on the right side of shit.
Yep,
You know what I
yep,
mean? Before I
yep.
was born. Um, and that is the tradition of like to me, like hip hop is in the tradition of black music in America, which is folk music, which is, like there's a reason Chuck D was talking about like it's, you know, the hood CNN.
Right.
It's like and that goes way back historically. So, and that's not something, what I mean? I take it really seriously to be in this art form because also when I was in this art form early, it wasn't a given like it is now. Hip hop is like the dominant culture everywhere now. But in 1985, like in New England, like I was an outlier, so
Woo.
I knew I was in somebody else's house, and so from that time I took it seriously. From the time I was in venues, I took it seriously. So it's like to me, to be a white rapper and to ignore or not address any of the many wrongs of white supremacy. Also within, and once I started performing in underground hip hop shows, I realized a lot of these crowds are majority white also.
Right.
So now I'm a white guy on stage with a majority white crowd performing a black art form. Um, I guess I could be making party music about how I like to get drunk and perform like stereotypes, but all that shit in the music, like I said, like the history of fuck Chuck D, Stevie Wonder, all the way back to Leadbelly, like that's the real thing. The
Right.
thing that like got superimposed on it via capitalism was like Diddy, fucking, you know, shiny suit era, um, money, capitalism, like all that, get rich shit. Um, all of that at the time, and homophobia, even like Eminem's homophobia at the time when I heard it. The very first fucking time I heard it, I was like, this is corny. And this is going to age his music terribly. And like, people are not always going to talk like this. I already hang around
Yeah.
people who don't fucking would not condone this and would hear this and cringe and be like, ugh. And like, that is going to scare people out of your party. And so then in 2012, I was bringing drag queens and to rap shows and being like, look how fucking dope these performers are. They're fucking ill. And like, their crowd control is on the level with MCs. And like Katya, who's like the most famous person I ever toured with or worked
Right.
with via RuPaul's Drag Race, was doing hip hop shows with me in New England in 2012. And like we had that level of talent on stage at the fucking Western Front in Boston, like with a 19-piece marching band being like, all these limitations and all these little borders of what's real hip hop and this performance of masculinity and tough guy shit and all this bullshit. It's not real. Like hip hop is folk music. Like folk music is for people. Folk music does not discriminate. Folk music doesn't award you more like
Yeah.
weight or status because your shit made more money or you have more money. That is all industry shit that got superimposed on hip hop when the shit got commercialized and sold. So it's more like I was just never viable to participate in that, and I never wanted to because it felt fake, and it's been gratifying to see. I mean, it's been fucked up to see that people were even more evil than we thought they were. Like Diddy was the bad guy for every underground backpacker hip hop fan for
Sure.
fucking
Sure.
20 years, and we had no idea it was that ill. Like he's
Yeah.
a he's a wild piece of shit. Like we just thought
Yeah.
he was a shitty rapper.
Yeah. No, it's been intense. It's been intense. Um, Kay, do you have any other questions?
No, no.
I got I got one more live show memory, and then we go to recommendation corner.
Cool.
Right?
I've seen B.Dolan a number of times live. Um, one of the live show memories that I hold dearest um is an Epic Beardmen performance at a festival, Rock the Bells Festival.
Oh, yeah.
They had multiple stages. This was stage two, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and M.O.P come out and
That's right.
tear it the fuck
This is one of the most
down.
fucked up situations we were ever in as performers. Yeah, we had to follow M.O.P. Annie up.
Yeah, M.O.P come, they do Annie up. They're doing crazy. And the fans are going nuts. The ad libs are crazy. It's like, what?
We're going
M.O.P.
nuts. We're backstage going nuts. Anyone who can hear the fucking song is going nuts because it's the most hype hip hop song in the fucking history of rap.
And I am thinking, how are they going to follow this, right? Like, so uh, M.O.P leave, stage comes out, B.Dolan comes out, and they start doing M.O.P's ad libs.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. At a certain point, we just started realizing we gotta just keep hyping M.O.P. We just gotta come out and be like, make some noise for M.O.P. Like we just gotta
And you guys
ride
were
it
just
out for a
yelling,
second.
M.O.P, what? And like,
You
this
can't
was
just start
so good.
another song, you know? Yeah.
And everybody was so confused. And I was like, this is why you love Strange Things. Because they don't,
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy. Like,
We
no,
fought our
who
way out of
else
some
would you?
situations, yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic. How did M.O.P feel about all this? Were they
They were
cool?
cool as hell.
That's
I gave Little Fame a demo. I gave Little Fame House of Bees Volume 1, I think I
okay.
had on that tour. And I was just like, I'm a huge fan, man, and
Yeah.
just gave it to him. And then I ran into them in the buffet line, and I was in between Little Fame and Billy Dan's, and Little Fame was in front of me, and he got to this like banana cream crumble, and he puts them in his plate, and then, or I think he had actually eaten it, and he was coming back for more, so he was coming back for like a second plate, and uh, and he was like talking to himself out loud, kind of self-consciously, like you might do at a buffet when you kind of feel like people are watching you and you're kind of taking a lot. So he was like, "This banana cream crumble is incredible. I don't know what they put in it. Like you got to say it's like extra kind of." And so he left, and then I was moving down the line, and Billy Danz comes down, and he's like, "What's that?" I was like, "It's banana cream crumble." I was like, "Fame says it's incredible," and he was just like, "Fame's a greedy motherfucker." I was just like, "Word." Word. And that was my experience with M.O.P. on that tour. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
yeah. I just had to mention it. It's a hell of a highlight
It's a highlight
from
for me too. It was a
Rock the
wild time.
Bells. It's incredible. Um, so, but let's go to recommendation corner and talk about the music that we're fucking into, because part of being on vacation with Family K is I missed recommendation corner. I missed
Yeah.
sharing shit, bro. So I'm gonna go with first ones first is my guy Son Little. Man, I love Son Little. Uh, Son Little from Philly. He's been on a few Roots albums. Um, had an album called Aloha
Yeah.
uh, that I lived with. Just has a new album called City Folk, and this shit is like calling it soul would be insincere. This is blues. This is a dude with a guitar writing crazy songs, incredible songs. And he has those songs, and he has at least four of them on here that I'll just rewind, run that shit back, rerun. Run that shit back. Yeah, Sun Little City Folk, absolutely fabulous. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, the other one that I had been into was, and shout out to hearingthings.co. Um, Dylan Green, Jill Mace, bunch of great critics came together, formed their own thing uh, to get outside of this kind of cycle, bouncing from place to place. And they have a column weekly called like 5 songs you need to hear. And they had this they're talking about this album Jill Mapes did called Memory Be a Blade by Water Baby. 8 songs, really dope. Sub Pop stuff. Uh, you know, Sub Pop's always had a real good balance between like this is catchy, but it's weird, and I like that shit.
Yeah, Sub Pop's dope. Shout out to the Downtown Boys. They're a Providence band that just announced their record on Sub Pop coming soon.
It's awesome. Shout out to Sub Pop for staying and living and being relevant while all these places shut down.
Hell yeah.
I was also okay on my jazz shit this morning. Uh, Soul Station, Hank Mobley. I was having a Hank Mobley fucking run. Uh, it was so dope, so dope. So, yeah, those are my recommendation right now. Dole, what are you listening to?
I'm listening to a couple projects that are coming. Glaring Typo is gonna release some other artists this year, hopefully. There's an artist called the VT Experiments, and Skip has got a record, and it's dope.
Oh, Skip has a record.
Yeah, Skip's got a record. Skip's got a record. And I can't stop playing it. So yeah, I've been listening to that a bunch, and then I just listened to a lot of very old shit. I've been like Ramsey Lewis, Cadet
Oh
Records.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
You got to.
yeah. I tend to listen to a similar playlist of very repetitive music, like the same songs over and over again for years and years.
Yeah, no, there's different moods and different spaces where I'm like, you know, uh,
Y'all play
yeah.
video games?
My son is hardcore into that shit, but
This
yeah,
video games Hades. It's got an incredible soundtrack also. Even if you don't play, yeah, the soundtrack's fire. This game Hades, man. I've been rinsing this shit. It's so dope.
Crazy.
Story's good. It's a roguelike, which is like a style of game that you hear talked about a lot. But it has a really like you're meant to just keep dying and dying and dying, and the story fits it. It's a story about the son of the god of the underworld trying to escape hell. Shit's fucking
80s. Okay.
yeah,
That's cool. That sounds cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
Strong
that's
recommend.
dope. Kay, what are you rocking with? What are you bumping?
I mean, nothing really new. Like, I've been listening to a lot of jazz. Trio 64 by Bill Evans. I think I
Oh
mentioned
yeah.
that. And I kind of, I mean, the only new music I really listen to is I listened to that Jack Harlow project.
Oh, you did? I did too.
shit.
I
Yeah.
did too.
I've only heard the song.
It's just,
The one
it's
song.
fascinating to me, like
I did too.
particularly the project and the discourse.
Yeah,
Very fascinating.
yeah.
It's like the Jack Harlow album. It's not the worst album you'll ever hear,
Right.
right? By the way, if people want to really, if you're really still in a mood to chew this Jack Harlow thing, FD Signifier hit on the Signifier B-sides,
Ah,
37-minute breakdown.
you went all the way in.
It's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I maxed out on it, but on the coverage, got a little crazy. But like to me, it's a copy of a copy situation.
Yeah, yeah. Like Logic. Like Logic's whole career.
Yeah, where you're like, oh, you're doing the thing of the thing of the thing of the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think that's what, I think back to like Def Jam stepping to me at 18 and being like, can you just do what Eminem is doing? Because Eminem had just did it. And so, yeah, the music industry tends to do that. As soon as something is successful, they're like, let's all get one of those. Just to have, maybe. And then, and then, and the white rapper will always be attractive for that reason, because if they can get them to, basically steal black artist music and sell it to white audiences, it's the oldest trick in the music industry's playbook. And if you happen to sign on to the deal to be that white rapper, then yeah, they will album cycle to album cycle turn you into whatever's popping. So you were Drake for a little while, and then you were Kendrick for a little while, and now you're, or you were reverse, like he was Drake, yeah, and now it's not hot to be Drake right now, so it's like you got to do something else. We're singing this record, like that reeks of a record label idea, like
think about Drake's love. Well, like early on, he was always talking about Aaliyah. and how much he loved Aaliyah, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he was one of the only rappers who's like, Aaliyah's my shit, you know?
Mm.
And so Drake's style kind of came from that wave as well. So him go tracing back to that, it makes sense.
And even
Uh,
Drake was copying The Weeknd around that time. He was
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
working on,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, eventually, yeah. That's
yeah.
yeah, the vampire stuff is real.
Colonizers.
Vampire stuff is real. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that it was not a remarkable album. I'm not gonna think about it or remember it like in a
Mm.
week or two.
Mm.
So that's what I'll say about it.
He's probably thankful for La Russell right now. He's probably like,
Yeah,
thank God La Russell has taken the heat off my record dropping.
right, right.
Mm.
Yeah, I think Russell's album's better, by the way, significantly
I
better.
haven't heard. Is that out?
Yeah,
It's
it's out.
out, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
it's out. And I think it's produced by Little John.
Yes, I saw that.
And it's so he's got like bangers, but like his his lyricism is a little simple. With it, and I remember playing it in the car. Kay, my wife, is brutal, critical. With the, so she and I'm playing La Russell. This is before the whole thing happens, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, and she's like, this sounds like early Lonely Island.
Oh God.
I was rooting for him so hard, man. I was rooting for him so hard, like Tyra Banks. I like his tiny desk. If his
Yeah,
tiny
yeah,
desk,
yeah.
like it felt. But you know, somebody the other day said like he's like Chance the Rapper from another region, and that makes the most sense to me because
Okay.
when Chance the Rapper first popped up on his mixtapes, I was like, this is dope. He's bringing all these like young artists from Chicago up with
Yep,
him.
yep.
This feels like a real thing that came out of a group of people making music together and like they're hype on each other's shit. And then they hit the industry and just like exploded. And like it just, all the fractures became clear and everyone looked back and was like, oh, actually that wasn't that dope. Um,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, he had to do that thing where he was pretending he was a kid for a long time.
I
He
missed
would
that.
talk in like a kid voice, and he would
Right,
have
right,
pants that
right.
weren't fitting him, and he
Yeah, because
like,
it's so whack, man. And like what La Russell did was great. He was just throwing shows at his mom's house
yeah,
in
yeah,
her backyard, and he built that up and made it look crazy, dope on TikTok, and it became a social media thing too. And I think it, like the social media side of it, got him drinking his own Kool-Aid a little bit because he was so good at like showing his process, showing himself like on
yeah,
tour and communicating like this is what I'm spending on ads. I was really into that part. He was like sharing information in a new cool way. And I think people just started listening to him like he was wise and he started being like, I am pretty wise, like
yeah. No, it
you
becomes
know?
it becomes Tony Montana, right? And with Michelle Pfeiffer being like, I wish somebody had given it to you,
Yeah, yeah,
you'd be a nicer person.
yeah.
Uh, so that's a consideration. But shout out to Russell.
Good luck with
But
Russell.
um, I also wanted to shout out Cam from Crate 808, Crate 808
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
Does great work, and I have been lucky enough to have been invited as a guest on certain topics. He was doing, Wu-Tang albums for a while, like, Ghostface Killer's discography and different people's discography, and he ran through the Wu, like, and he was like, I'm gonna do Loud Records look back. And I'm like, fuck it,
Damn.
sign me up,
Yeah.
whatever we gotta do. So we did our first Loud Records episode. It's deep in his paywall, but there's
Dope.
on my Instagram, there's like he posted like a teaser kind of trailer thing of us talking about the importance of Loud Records. And I'm pumped,
Yeah.
I already got to talk about the alcoholics, you know, Madcap. Now we're gonna talk 36 chambers. Like it's crazy. So
Talking recommendations, do you know about Infinite Coals?
oh hell yeah.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
I've been telling people about that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
album's good.
I
I
listened
like
to that
that album.
recently. I was feeling that. Yeah.
I like that album. It's a bit of a heartbreaker, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jeez,
As a fan, yeah. Yeah,
it's
big time.
well and just from like damn, you shouldn't have had to live through that experience. Like
Mm-hmm.
to have your father ajar like that. You know what I mean?
And it's
Like
an L for Ghostface fans, but
yeah.
like I loved Ghostface because he was the sensitive member of the clan. He had the
Yeah.
songs, like He could make emotional
my
songs.
favorite, the people I'm most proud of, Dolan, are in my life that I know are people that grew up angry as fuck and matured out of it.
Right.
Grew up and found a way to be productive people and kind people, and like you don't want to fuck with them, but they are better, you know.
Hmm.
And like it's sad that Ghostface didn't get there, you know.
Yeah.
For
Not yet.
for
Hopefully.
some,
Who knows?
yeah,
Maybe there's
who
time.
knows? Who knows? Um, but yeah, that's so. Shout out to Cam. Can't wait to keep doing that. I keep trying to sell Small Professor and Cam on him being a 36 Chambers guest and a part of the series because Small Pro, not just the best producer in Philly, but an incredible music critic.
Yeah. All
Incredible.
right.
Like
All right.
he wrote a thing for freemusicempire.com a while ago about his favorite producers of a certain year. It was just beautifully written. And yeah, whenever he gets a chance to go on podcasts and wax poetic, just a brilliant dude. So
Small Pro's nasty, man.
yeah, yeah, loving it. So thank you for this. Thank you
No
for being
doubt.
here. To
Thank
be
y'all.
able to hang out with people that I was rocking with way the fuck before I was doing this is incredible. So,
Hell
uh,
yeah. It's been a
yeah,
lovely hang.
thank you, thank
Thanks, y'all.
you. Yeah, everybody, uh, man, take some time, put your phone down, read a book, hug your loved ones. You know what I'm saying? Let the light in a little bit. Um, try and be less angry, man.
What will tomorrow